Good morning, everybody. It's Steve Dario here. I'm just having my morning coffee, just taking a few minutes to reflect on where things are at right now. And I wanted to talk about the one move, the one decision that kind of flipped the entire game for me. It wasn't flashy. I know my friends like to bust my chops about, being out there and stuff like that. And, didn't make any headlines, but it definitely created a ripple effect in my life, in my business, how I've scaled, right? And it just gives me a fire every day to wake up and to kind of just forge forward with the mission, every day. So what was that move, right? Everyone always asks me, is there one thing that, that like really changed it for you? And yes, the answer is I started to bet on myself, right? I made the choice to believe, why not me, right? If not me, who? And if not when, right? I just at that point in time, when I had that conversation with myself, that's when I went all in. I just sat down with my wife, my family, my brother, my kids, and I just said, look, this is what it's going to look like. So the first thing that really changed it for me was belief, right? So before the success, the teams, the 8-figure business, right? Belief had to happen, right? So I had to dig deep into myself and really figure out the values that I had. The belief is the number one thing. I talk about this all the time with people that I coach. Is if the belief's not there, then nothing's going to be possible, right? You can kind of stumble into it and stuff like that, but if belief is not set up, like, you really got to be checked in and 100%, almost be to the point of obsessed belief to get to where you want to go, right? So then, once I realized I believed that I could do it, right? So like, building the company that I have today, Dario Services, out of Massachusetts, and coaching, right? So like, how did I step into coaching? It's like I was given the opportunity to coach people, and then I'm like, wow, I'm really good at this. I'm getting a lot of good success with it, okay? And people are getting success, not so much me. My success was the gratification of watching people like me be able to help people, and then like they're like, oh crap, yeah, that worked, that changed it for me, and I'm able to make payroll now, and I'm not worried about it every week to week. So that belief, like those things that happened, just kept reinforcing the belief. So then once the belief was established, then you move on to what I call cornerstone number 2, which is knowledge, right? So how do you coach? How do you start a coaching business, right? I didn't have anybody to be like, hey, can you tell me what to do? Like, there was no blueprint for me. So then you have to go and seek out the knowledge, just like your trades. If you're in the trades, or if you're a business owner right now, like, if you don't know what to do, you need to find a coach that has been where you want to go, and that coach will give you tips along the way and kind of just be in your head and stuff like that. So second thing I had to do was go out and acquire the knowledge that I needed, whether it was how to grow my business and join organizations that specialize in teaching and training and stuff like that. And then I realized along the way that, the passion is always to be of service to others. It's my neighbor's dog barking in the background, sorry. So I studied so many different things, and it wasn't just the trades, it wasn't just business, right? I started to study like psychology, human behavior, why people do the things they want to do. I started to study leadership. I started to study money, like how does money flow? Money's all abundant around us. It's just a question of, are you executing on the right things or asking the right questions for it to flow to you, right? So knowledge then gave me like the power to believe, right? And to build, and not just hustle, right? And I've said this a million times, right? A lot of us business owners get to where we are because, and women, don't take this the wrong way, you probably have bigger balls than we do. We stumble our way with balls and brawn, but then at some point in time, you start smashing your head up against a ceiling, and you're like, I just can't get through. I just can't get through. And I'm like, and I was there, right? So that I know to be 100% true, and then at that point in time, you have to learn strategy, right? Chess. You have to start going from playing checkers to playing chess. And when you start to understand strategy, like, hey, I sent this e-blast out. Okay, great. I got 30 responses. One of my coaching clients sent out an e-blast, got like 30 appointments booked. And I'm like, okay, well, how do you measure that? How do you understand what to expect from those results? So like, are those all system checkups? Great. How many were over 10 years old? Okay, from the 10-year-old system checkups, how many of those should be flipped, right, to potential replacements and stuff like that. So that's where it goes from checkers to chess, because you're able to sit down and get the email put together, then go, okay, when this email comes in, the responses come in, I need this type of information put in these buckets so that I can create the next expectation of sales leads and stuff like that. So so belief, knowledge. Third one, consistency, right? One thing, most of people that know me is I'm a diligent, consistent individual, right? Change doesn't come from what you do once. Change comes what you do repeatedly. I've talked to many of my coaching clients. I've talked to many people in the industry. Oh yeah, I've been to that event. I'm like, it's like going to the gym, doing chest once, and expecting you to be huge right after one time, right? I have been working out. My mother started taking me to the gym at 13 years old, right? So I'm doing the same workouts that I was doing since I was 13, right? Chest, shoulders, and tris, back, bis, legs, rest day if you take it, or you go in and do an active rest day on the stair machine. I mean, the workouts haven't changed, and I'm 48 now, so however many, 35 years, right? Good math. So consistency is what wins the game, right? So like, I'll meet people that believe, I'll meet people that believe in themselves, I'll meet people that know everything, and then they just lack discipline and consistency. And that's like a chokehold on them, right? So like, it's one thing, and this from my football coach in high school. He said to me, what he lacks in stature, he makes up in work ethic, okay, and consistency. And that was said to me when I was like 17 years old, because yes, I'm not 6'2", even though internally I feel that. My driver's license says 5'10", but everyone tries to tell me I'm 5'8". Little joke for you guys. So, it's just, you if you don't put the consistent effort in, like even a shitty plan executed consistently will develop a good result, and then from there leads us into cornerstone 4, which is results, right? So you get results. What do your results look like? You calibrate on those results. Did I get a good result? Yes. Oh, that worked. I'm really sore the next day at the gym. Oh crap, that email got me 30 booked leads. Okay, well, how do we do that email again in a different way to get 60 leads? How do we improve that? What worked really well on that email that hasn't worked on another email? I wanted to just take the time to just reach out to everybody. I'm putting these videos out there now more consistently, and I wanted people to understand that, the 4 cornerstones, work that I talk about and coach on, and it's the foundation basically for me that I coach off of now. Belief, knowledge, consistency, results. Those 4 cornerstones. I don't care what training you've been to. I don't care if you've been to a sales training, you've been to a leadership training, you've been to a mindset training. If you do not have a solid base under that, and you don't understand where to identify where your breaks are, like, okay, you go and learn leadership, but do you really believe that you can be a leader? No. Okay, well, a leadership training with a fault in your belief cornerstone is going to equal not a good result, right? And then you'll get that not good result. You'll calibrate on it, and hopefully you'll figure out that it's belief. But the problem is most people will still do the same thing. The definition of insanity. Well, no, I'm just going to go back to what I did and go back to what I learned in the training. And then from there, they don't they just keep getting crappy results, and then you just get tired and fed up, and you're like, oh, this shit doesn't work. And then you just go back to being who you were, because most of us operate off of unconscious programs all the time. So when the new program doesn't work, you just default back to the old program that you had in you. But I can assure you, if you do not have these cornerstones in place, 9 out of 10 times anything you learn is not going to net you the result that you're expecting. I see it time and time again. I saw it when I was coaching in another organization. I see it now coaching my private clients. I hear it just from having conversations with people just day to day on the phones, through text message, whatever the case may be. So, yeah. So if you haven't checked us out, we are on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. We are now on Patreon. We have a Patreon account. So why did we start the Patreon account? Real simple. Owners at whatever level get a little freaked out starting to invest in themselves. So we created the Patreon platform for you to start plugging into things like this, so that you can start getting some of the belief built and getting some results, and starting to let that knowledge saturate your brain, get a little bit more consistent than you have been in the past. And then from there, then maybe you move into private coaching, group coaching. But yeah, so like if I can be of any assistance, please reach out to me on any of those platforms. Yeah, I just want to be of service and live in my highest values. So I appreciate it. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will talk to you next week.